From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III on Tuesday paid a courtesy call on Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. in Malacañang Palace. Blinken and Austin is in Manila for the Philippines-U.S. Foreign and Defense Ministerial Dialogue or 2+2 Dialogue hosted by Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo and Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. This will be the fourth iteration of the Philippine-U.S. Ministerial Dialogue following the meeting held in Washington, D.C. in April last year. In the last 2+2 meeting, the two states issued a joint statement that reaffirmed full support for international law, modernizing shared defense capabilities of the alliance, advancing economic and environmental security, and cultivating vibrant and robust people-to-people ties between the two countries. Let's listen to the statements of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III.
And of course to our visitors from the United States, Secretary Tony Blinken and Secretary Lloyd Austin, for the 2+2 meetings that we are going to be conducting. Welcome back to the Philippines. And I'm always very happy that these communication lines are very open so that all the things that we are doing together in terms of our alliance, in terms of the specific context of our situation here in the West Philippine Sea and in the Indo-Pacific, are continuously examined and re-examined, so we are agile in terms of our responses. But we are very happy to see you once again. I'm a bit surprised considering how interesting your political situation has become back in the States, but I'm glad that you found the time to come and visit with us.
Mr. President, thank you so much. Thank you for as always, the warm welcome. I bring you greetings from President Biden, Vice President Harris, along with Secretary Austin. We're very, very pleased to be here. Let me just start by sending our deepest condolences to all of the victims of the recent typhoon, and to say again, anything we can do to be of assistance, we welcome doing that. I think today is genuinely historic. This is the first time that the Philippines has hosted our 2+2. It's, I think, really evidence of a steady drumbeat of very high-level engagements between our countries that are covering the full range of issues and opportunities that bring us together, not only security, but also economic, and we're truly grateful for this partnership. We look forward to a very good day with our colleagues and to further advancing the critical work that we're doing together. So thank you again for receiving us.
No, of course.
Mr. President, let me echo Tony's comments on the warm welcome. It really is great to be back in country again. And also his offer of condolences for those who have been affected by the storm. You know, I've said a number of times that we're more than allies, we're family. And it always feels that way when you know, I'm working with our colleagues. You know, we have common interests, common values, and so I think we've done a lot over the last 3.5 years to continue to strengthen our alliance, and we look forward to continuing to work with you and your team to move even further. But thanks for your leadership, Mr. President. Again, it's been a great 3.5 years, and I look forward to another 3.5 or another 4 in strengthening this relationship. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. I think that all of the things that we have done in the previous months has been really serves really to make all our alliances and partnerships more actually have a working relationship, in the sense that lines of communications have been opened, and again, we are doing many more things together.
You just heard the statements of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III during the 2 U.S. officials' courtesy call in Malacañang Palace.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, on Monday said only security agencies will be given confidential and intelligence funds, or CIFs, under the 2025 National Expenditure Program. According to DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman, from the 12.378 billion pesos this 2024 national budget, CIF in the proposed 2025 budget went down to 10.286 billion pesos, or a 16% decrease. From the amount, 4.37 billion pesos is for confidential and 5.92 billion pesos for intelligence expenses. The remaining 1.8 billion pesos is divided for the Department of National Defense, or DND, wherein 1.7 billion pesos is for the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, 991.2 million pesos for the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, 806.03 million for the Philippine National Police, or PNP, and 500 million pesos for the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA. 589.4 million pesos is also allotted for the Department of Justice, divided among the Office of the Secretary, Bureau of Immigration, National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, and the Office of the Solicitor General. The Department of Finance, or DOF, also has a CIF worth 79.5 million pesos for the Bureau of Customs and Bureau of Internal Revenue. The Department of Transportation, or DOTR, were also given 405 million pesos for the Office of the Transportation Security and Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG. Other executive offices with CIFs include the Anti-Money Laundering Council, or AMLAC, with 7.5 million pesos, Games and Amusement Board, 4 million pesos, National Security Council, 250 million pesos, and the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, or OPAPRU, with 60 million pesos. Also under the CIF, the Commission on Audit was given 10 million pesos, Office of the Ombudsman 51.4 million pesos, and Commission on Human Rights 1 million pesos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, said the proposed budget for the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, in the submitted 2025 National Expenditure Program, or NEP, has increased more than 100 million pesos. DOTR currently has a budget of 73.9 billion pesos this year, while in the proposed 2025 budget, the allocation is now at 180.9 billion pesos or 144.8% higher. Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman explained that the DOTR's allocation went up because the government needs to pay projects that are mostly foreign assisted. The payment, in particular, is for railway projects such as the North-South Commuter Railway System, Metro Rail Transit Line 3 or MRT3 Rehabilitation Project, and the Metro Manila Subway Phase 1. The rail transport program under the 2025 NEP has been allocated a total of 107.3 million pesos.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Navotas Representative Toby Tiangco supports the call of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to develop the National Flood Control Plan. This follows the devastation left by Typhoon Karina, which caused widespread flooding in Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon. According to Tiangco, the National Flood Control Plan will integrate effective flood interventions to safeguard its citizens and their property against extreme flooding. Tiangco said his district experienced flooding, and one of their problems is high flood waters as well as roads that are impassable. The Navotas Solon said local government units or LGUs should coordinate with the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH as well as other concerned government agencies in order to establish the National Flood Control Plan. Meanwhile, Tiangco also reminded the public, especially Navoteños, to make sure they properly throw out trash as 81 pumping stations in the city was clogged with garbage during the onslaught of Typhoon Karina.
Dateline Malacañang.
The University of the Philippines Marine Science Institute or UPMSI expects the oil slick from the sunken oil tanker MT Terra Nova to further spread in the waters off Limay in Bataan Province. In its second bulletin on the oil spill, the UPMSI reported that the oil spill might reach the waters off Metro Manila on Tuesday. Based on the oil spill trajectory model, the oil spill will flow to various waters depending on the weather pattern and condition. According to UPMSI, the oil spill already reached Cavite Province on Monday in the municipalities of Noveleta, Rosario, Tanza, Naik, and Ternate. Department of Environment and Natural Resources or DENR Secretary Maria Antonio Yulo Loizaga earlier said they have directed the Environmental Management Bureau or EMB to address the effects of the oil spill. For its part, the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG have created an interagency task force to speed up its measures on the oil spill incident in Limay, Bataan. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BIFAR have also tightened its coordination with various government agencies to mitigate the effects of the oil spill, particularly its possible effects on marine life and public health.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BIFAR, on Monday said towns in the province of Bataan are still allowed to fish, as samples collected around the oil spill passed the sensory analysis. In its oil spill bulletin, BFAR said fish samples from the waters of Bataan towns in Limay, Orion, Balanga City, and Samal were subjected to sensory analysis on July 29th. BFAR said the samples passed the cooked fish taste test, raw odor, and cooked odor. The agency said that subsequent tests will be done by independent laboratories to identify the presence of oil, grease, and harmful contaminants called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons or PAHs. BFAR added that they are closely monitoring catch landings to ensure that unloaded catch has no traces of oil, as well as conducting sensory analysis of fish samples from surrounding waters. BFAR advised fisherfolk to avoid contaminated zones, wear personal protective equipment as needed, promptly harvest shellfish or fish from the area, and prevent additional contamination by ensuring proper waste disposal and regular boat maintenance. The agency also called on fisherfolk and the public to remain calm and immediately report any sightings of oil slicks. On July 25th, the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG reported that MT Terra Nova, carrying 1.4 million liters of oil, capsized and sank off Limay, Bataan Province.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or NDRRMC on Monday reported that fatalities from the combined effects of the southwest monsoon or Habagat and typhoons Buchoy and Karina rose to 36. According to the agency's latest situation update, the figure includes 14 validated deaths, 5 in Calabarzon, 4 in Zamboanga Peninsula, 2 in Central Luzon, and 1 each in Northern Mindanao, Davao Region, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM. Still undergoing confirmation are 22 deaths, 15 in the National Capital Region or NCR, 5 in Calabarzon, and 1 each in Ilocos Region and BARM. The NDRRMC also confirmed reports of 2 injured in northern Mindanao, while reports of another 4 hurt in the Cordillera Administrative Region, along with 2 missing persons in Ilocos and 1 in northern Mindanao are still being validated. A total of 1,240,090 families or 4,553,752 individuals residing in 3,854 villages across the country have so far been affected. Around 38,292 families or 152,800 individuals are being aided in 848 evacuation centers, while another 134,235 families or 641,944 persons are being aided outside. Some 1,598 damaged houses were recorded in 15 regions. Meanwhile, the damage to infrastructure and agriculture was estimated at 1.69 billion pesos and 355.6 million pesos respectively. In the meantime, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, continues to provide assistance to those affected by the southwest monsoon and Typhoon Karina. According to the DSWD, as of July 29th, a total of 977,560 family food packs was allocated to the National Capital Region or NCR and the regions of Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, and Bicol. Region 3 received the largest amount of food packs, which reached 422,116. The agency continues to coordinate with local government units or LGUs for the immediate delivery of assistance to affected communities. In relation to this, the number of families staying in evacuation centers are still high. Data from the DSWD's latest report show that 14,000 families or 53,691 individuals are temporarily staying in over 300 evacuation centers in the country.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly like, subscribe, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.